Henriette Fern from Marsh, and I'm co-judge today with Judge Seo on the third task, and with me is Adrian Lemmer from Marsh assisting us with this task. Adrian, the cutting edge team seems to be the stronger team, and it seems to have a lot better synergy in their team.
I agree with that 100%. Roxanne has, from being the dominant person and the obvious leader in that team, has taken a few steps back, and her role as the leader has been taken over by Aaron. It's almost as if Roxanne, when she answers a question, is looking at the rest of the team, and more in particular at Aaron for approval. It looks like she's lost her confidence, and I wonder whether something didn't happen in that team to make that change, because it is radical. Did you find that as well?
I absolutely agree with you. In the beginning, she was almost speaking on behalf of the team and was saying, we decided this and we decided this, didn't we? And now it's more a question of, do you think we should decide this?
Azar was quiet initially. He says a lot more. I think he's a quiet guy, but he's a thinker. Whatever he says, he says with authority, and he can back it up what he says. So he is turned in that team as a very strong candidate for me, and also Aaron, and unfortunately Roxanne appears to have lost her enthusiasm, or maybe her confidence. I don't know.
I haven't won a task yet. I'm very determined to win. I need to win. There can't be any other way. I do believe that I've got strong characters in my team, but in terms of the core information and responsibilities that are required by the task, I've got the knowledge, and they've picked that up. Everyone is working around the meat, and I am eating the meat. By me eating the meat, I mean that's the core requirements of the exercise. The client has had this loss and its claims related, and they're due for renewal. So what they need to know is, how am I affected? What's going to happen to my business? And that's all that I am concentrating on. By Azar eating the bone, I mean that he's not concentrating on the core requirements of the exercise. He's only concentrating on how much the premium will increase.
I'm naturally a numbers person, and I like to quantify our solutions. This task is something that I've done before. It's a task where I've been involved in many of these aspects of renewals. I'm a very large contributor. I've done this thing day in and day out. There are some people who are of the view that I started off being very aggressive and now I'm becoming overly passive. I don't think that's the case. I need to at times step away from the situation. I need to also look at myself. Am I being too passive? Am I being too aggressive? Perhaps I am letting a lot more things slide, because the things that I'm firm on are the important ones.
So in terms of this task, it has been voted that I am taking a leading role. I'll be the account executive, so I'll be chairing the meeting in terms of the introduction. Azar will be my support in the meeting, and Aaron will specifically be talking about the claims issue. I feel that Aaron's strengths only being in claims may be limited, as he is not used to being in renewal meetings. I've been in renewal meetings with both brokers and insurers, where we have had to deal with incidents exactly like we are dealing today. So to ensure that we win today's task, my team and I have tried to think of scenarios or questions that may come up with regards to our conclusion of how we're going to deal with today's task. So for every recommendation we have put forward, we have tried to come up with all the possible questions that the panels may ask us.
Come.
Afternoon everyone. First of all, we are very pleased to be appointed as the new brokers, and we would just like to extend our appreciation. Just to get the formalities out of the way, I would just like to hand a copy of the agenda to each one of you.
Can you just cut the formalities and tell us how we're going to sort out our problem, please?
We assure you that you have the appropriate cover in place. With regards to the fire that happened at Industria last night, Aaron has had numerous conversations with your factory manager, and he's going to shed some light on this.
What's happening to the injured people?
The injured people actually been transported to a hospital, which we have been notified by your factory manager.
Just bear with me that we are almost in mourning. My company that took me 20 years to build up has gone up in smoke. The mere fact that I'm allowing you to sit here tells you that I've got confidence in you.
Thank you.
So please tell me and put my mind at ease about the injuries.
You can have a peace of mind. All the injured staff employees will be covered in terms of the policies.
What policy is going to pay for the medical expenses?
We've got a general liability policy in place.
You know, you are so clinical,
Yes.
and you don't understand the trauma I'm going through.
So we want to make sure that through this tough time, we want to make this transition as smooth as possible. But I think what the message that we're trying to get across is that we have put a lot of measures in place to ensure that we touch base with you at each and every single point in time.
We're talking about the future, yet I don't have comfort about where we go from here as we sit here.
Could extend the policy with the current insurer for 4 months in order to ensure the finalisation of the claim.
So our options are stay where we are,
Yes.
same price, or we go with this new guy that says maybe we're going to charge you more premium.
Or we stay just for a while longer to make up our mind,
Yeah.
which I think in our case is by far the best idea.
Yeah.
So we've got a mandate for the extension of 4 months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Come. Well, teams, we're back here now for the results of your presentations and the feedback. So to start off, I would like to ask Vuyo to give feedback to some of the individuals here, please.
So for individual feedback, let me start on my right here with Walter. Walter, I think you did very well today. It was an excellent presentation. You took control of the situation. You addressed some of the questions and concerns of the client very clearly. So overall, you had a great day. So well done.
Thank you.
Okay. Mopedi, so you have got very good voice and you project yourself very well and you present yourself very well. My one caution to you is when you do get a mandate, you get out. Okay, so the client made it clear that you have a mandate. Don't try hard to stick to the script or stick to what you wanted to say at the presentation. So when the client has already said, guys, we've got no time, you're done, you've got your mandate, you should have actually left at that moment. Matthew, in terms of your engagement with the panel, I think it was very good. I think it took quite a strong role in terms of reassuring the client. What you need to start focusing more is showing them the more empathetic side and also showing them that you are the right guy in terms of the relationship as well. Azar, in terms of your presentation, I think you did well in giving assurance to the client in terms of their concerns. What you did very well in that particular situation is listening. So you did demonstrate that you are listening to the client. My word of caution in terms of the presentation is timing. Timing is very critical. So don't wait it out. Don't wait and see, what's happening within the situation. Your colleagues were under fire and you basically sat back for a while and then you came in. Aaron, you did come across a bit flustered when the client was asking you about what's happening with the existing claim, what's happening with where things are going right now. What we did like is the fact that you demonstrated a certain personal touch and proactiveness in your answers. And Roxanne, finally, I think in terms of the presentation, in the past task, you do show that you do structure very well. This was not a situation for structure. So coming in and saying, here's an agenda, in a situation where there's a crisis, is something you start thinking about. So from a relationship perspective, you could have injected a bit more empathy.
Thank you, Vuyo. Right, Lana Vuyo.
Okay, I'll give feedback first to Value Broker team. I was a little disappointed that you almost behaved as if you were individual brokers rather than as a team presenting to the client. If you see one of your colleagues floundering, help them, but help them in a way that you're not talking over them. The comment has been made already about the mandate, okay, and it's something really to remember. Don't oversell. Stop. And then finally, I thought that that you didn't really offer us as the client a solution. As far as cutting edge is concerned, I thought that there was good creativity in terms of the 4-month extension that you offered, because that really was a solution for the client while you go and do whatever you need to do to try and fix all of the rest of the stuff related to the renewal. I would say to you also, learn to listen. Also be careful of using things like we, they, us, them, you, because we don't know who you're talking about, or the policy.
The tactic that was followed today was to be disruptive. I heard more than once that today's task is not all that difficult. You guys were perhaps a little bit, at ease about it. The crisis that was created was going to be a crisis for you. And when Adrian basically started off by saying, look, I'm not interested in your structured meeting, I'm interested in my people, I think that took the wind out of the sails of both teams. I think that both teams attempted to start in exactly the same way. I think once both teams realized that they weren't going to have it their own way, they actually did try and pacify the client and tried to varying degrees of success. But I think generally speaking, if we compare the two teams, it was much of a muchness. The differentiator between the two teams was really that the one team were far more responded to the client's need at that particular moment, okay? And it all hinged around the fact that that cutting edge basically came up with a suggestion that the current covers policies actually be extended for 4 months in order to sort out the mess that the client was in, whereas the other team kind of went away sort of with a mandate to put everything in place before midnight. And because of that reason only, the winner today is cutting edge. Okay, then all that remains is for me to thank Marsh and particularly to thank Riet and Adrian for being here today. And then again, to my fellow judge, Boyo, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.